What's up, Pickle Peeps, and how is your weekend going? I hope it's absolutely awesome and epic and everything great. Mine has been pretty dang spectacular, especially today, and I really wanted to come in here today and talk about like that beautiful thing on the weekends called self-care. Entrepreneurial self-care. And to help me along, I brought a book, which happens to be, this is Profit First by Mike McCallum. It happens to be my favorite business book outside of the Secrets trilogy by Russell Brunson. Well, really anything Mike writes or anything Russell writes is just like gospel genius as far as it comes in business. So I'll get to this in just a minute. Now, self-care for entrepreneurs. I feel it's a little different from other people because regular people have a job and they go and they work for a boss and they get a paycheck, and then at some point that paycheck pays the bills and there's money left over. Fantastic, great, like that's how it works, right? When you are in business yourself, if you are an entrepreneur, a solopreneur, a handmadepreneur, or whatever level of that you're on, the money rules are a little different because no one's writing you a check. It's off of the effort and the work and the leads that you put out there into the universe. And then when the money comes in, you have to be the one to decide what happens with it, which is where my buddy Mike comes in here with Profit First. He has a whole system for what to do with that money. But it's very tempting to get a great payday, a great paycheck. I remember the first time I had a $4,000 day, and I was like, woohoo! Going on a party. Yeah, that didn't happen. By the time like expenses and bills and everything else came out of that 4K, I was like, oh, look at that. I made $100. All right. No, it was better than that. But it feels that way sometimes. Like when you see these massive money, you're like, yes. And then in e-com, especially when you're like, oh, I gotta take out the cost of goods. And this happened at a show, so I got to take out the booth fee. And there's sales tax. And there's everything else. And you get to the part like, oh, and I have to buy new supplies and everything else. And you get to what's left at the end. You're like, oh, that's it? Yay me. Treating on ice cream. Because that's what the budget allows. And well, it doesn't have to be that way. And you, Pickle Peep, You deserve to have profits that actually allow self-care and allow you to be rewarded for this epic adventure you've taken on, which is being a business owner, being an entrepreneur. So let's take another scenario here before I get into the book, where I really want to dig in on what is like entrepreneurial self-care, because we get these windfalls, or even like look at your tax returns and you get your money back on your taxes and you're like, yes! Treat time! I doubt as an entrepreneur, your definition of treat time is, let's go on vacation. That's mine. It might be something like, ooh, I can get this new tool that's really expensive that I've wanted for a long time. Or, ooh, I can buy this course that I've wanted for a long time and it's going to make my business better so that later on, keywords here, later on, I'll be able to treat myself and do something awesome. Or treat my family and do something awesome. A little harder if you have little kids, like treating them is more like top of mind. But if you don't have them, like it can be hard. It can be really easy to get sucked into your whole life is your business, and you do nothing but serve and bow down to your business, right? Who feels like that? That you are a slave to your business, and it leaves us like putting all funds back into it when really that's not healthy. It's not good for you. You need to be taking time away from your business so you can actually enjoy the business that you're in. When you take time away, your brain is able to actually relax and think about the problems in your business and maybe come up with more creative solutions. So I challenge you, like comment below, what is the thing that you would do that is in no way related to your business? That would be the first thing you would do for self-care, for like a self-care spoiling. And I'll give you a hint, wink, wink. I just did one of these today, which is why I'm talking about it. And my sister and I went and got our toes done. We got pedicures. And actually, by the time we got home, we wished we got mani-pedis. Yeah, my nails are still boring. But my toes, I'm not lifting my foot up here, but my toes are like mermaid blue. It's awesome. Everything on me matches, from my toes to my flip-flops to my Fitbit to my shirt. Oh yeah. Yes. But we did this. We went and we've been talking for months. I kid you not, probably since before Christmas, we have been talking about taking a spa day. And in this case, like, we went for the half an hour pedicure. Like, seriously, that's pretty pathetic on the scale of pedicures. But the massage chair was amazing. But we made the decision. We made the decision yesterday. It's like, you know what? Boom, we're doing this. Okay, kind of influenced because I'm going to Arizona in a week and I want pretty toes, but I want pretty toes anyway. And yes, I'm going for a conference, so I might have just negated my entire self-care spiel. Shh. I don't need pretty toes to go to Arizona. I don't need pretty toes to go hang out with Russell Brunson and everybody in 2CCX and Inner Circle and Category King at Unlock the Secrets. I don't need that. It is a perk. It is nice. And I'm very happy. And every time I look down at my toes, they're so pretty. But yes, that was my first thing that I did. And I always look at it, it's like, okay, what is a sign that you've made it in your business? And people are like, what would you spoil yourself with? And my immediate answer is like monthly massages and pedicures. Boom. That is my immediate answer. And got them both today. Yes. And really what it comes down to, this is a reward for being in business. Okay? This is something that like regular people with jobs take for granted. They don't really think about it unless they're so far in the hole that they have nothing to really splurge on. But that Starbucks drink or Dunkin' Donuts drink or cheesecake or whatever you go for, that's a splurge. Get my toes done is a splurge. Going to buy a book that's not business related, it's a splurge. Going to the movies is a splurge. Okay, so I did that at the beginning. Oh, well, look at this. It's the beginning of May, and now I got this one here, beginning of June. Cool. I didn't even think about that. But like things that are not related to your business. And Mike lays out right here in Profit First how to do it all and how to do it so it's both painless and exhilarating. Yes. So Profit First, basically, like in a nutshell, and this might be terrifying, so if this terrifies you, I encourage you, read the book. My number one, anyone who tells me they're going into business, my first recommendation is Profit First. My second recommendation is .com Secrets. Okay? Seriously. My third recommendation, Go For Now. Those are in that order. Profit First, .com Secrets, and the trilogy, Go For Now. You can actually move Go For Now wherever you want in there. It's like 70 pages. But still, what Mike lays out in here is that from the very first dollar that you make, to break it up into something called basically the envelope system. And if you've done anything with financials, you probably might know the envelope system, or your parents might know the envelope system. I'm guarantee someone in your family or in your circle knows the envelope system, which is you take the chunk of money you got, say you got $100 in, make it easy here, and it gets broken up and put in the different envelopes, and the different envelopes have different purposes and different amounts that they take. So you might have an envelope for rent. You might have an envelope for supplies. You might have an envelope for groceries. That's a blurring home and business a little bit. But you get what I mean right there. And the way Mike says to do it here, and he sets it up, like I said, beautifully, is you would have, instead of envelopes, he likes bank accounts, but you can do it either way. You would have one for sales tax. If you collect sales tax, that is set aside and guaranteed and on hold for the government, right? Yep, good. Okay. You would have, then his first account that he tells you to make is a profit account. And this profit account it's your reward money. Now, if you're just starting out, you don't know what to do, start at 1%. His recommendation here is to get you up to 5%. One of my coaching business is at 5%. My ecom business is at 7% for my profit accounts. Personally, I've been doing this system for probably 6 years now, 5-6 years. Completely changed my business when I started it. And yeah, so the profit account. Now, the beauty of the profit account is, like I said before, it's your reward. So think of it like this, especially if you're a solopreneur, a sole proprietor, an LLC, anything that does not have stockholders. Think of yourself now as a stockholder. So you're holding multiple positions in your business, whether you have employees or not. One of those positions is the owner of your business. And that is a job, being the owner of your business. That is a salaried amount, or however you pay yourself. But there's a secondary tier to that, which is the reward tier, and that is being the shareholder of your business. Now, typically you might be 100% shareholder, or if you're in a partnership, you might have two of you in there as shareholders or whatnot. This profit account is the equivalent to shareholder stocks. And just like with shareholders on Wall Street, at the end of each quarter, you get a dividend check, which is your reward, your financial reward and recompense for investing in the company. Doesn't matter, like we're taking it down back here to Profit First, that you own the company, you still need to be rewarded for taking the action of starting your company, of running your company, of investing in your company. And that is done with your profit account. Now, he has a whole bunch of other accounts he says to do in here, including one for taxes, one for paying you, owner's draw, and one for expenses. Now, I personally have a whole slew more, but I have it broken down to my specific business. If you want to learn more about Profit First, then I invite you to join us at the Embroidery Entrepreneur Summit hosted by my friend, Coach Andrew George. And I am so excited to be there. Like, never ignore the fact that I'm a speaker. Like, bleh. I talk about gift guides, doesn't matter. He's got an expert in there on Profit First. And in this case, it's Profit First for quilters, which I just love to see. So this book is for like general purposes. And they have one for e-com. Actually, I'm looking at it. It's over on my bookcase. It's one of the very few books that I've been tempted to burn. One of the very few times that I've been extremely disappointed in a book that I purchased, and it was when Mike allowed a whole bunch of people, and they did like Profit First for contractors, Profit First for gyms, Profit First for restaurants, Profit First for e-com. And I was so excited about it. But if you're not on Amazon, or if Amazon is not the primary source of income for you or business, then that book is absolutely useless. I don't know why I still own it. Like, I could have thrown it out. It's the first time I've ever been tempted to send back to Amazon. Yeah, take your book back. I don't want it. But that has nothing to do with this one. This book is amazing. This book changed my life. This book allowed This book right here allowed for me to treat myself and my mother to Florida for 10 days for Funnel Hacking Live last year. And it was one of the cases where the opportunity came up. I looked at it, I was like, yeah, no problem. I got that money set aside. Boom, let's go on vacation. We're going to do a conference and vacation at the same time. And it was effortless and wonderful. Profit First allowed me to go to Mexico earlier this year and to do it without stress. So the beauty here is in that money is immediately separated and held. So you would have like your operating expenses for your business, which lets you know, this informs you how much money you should be making every week, every 2 weeks, every month, or however often you divvy it up. Because that's what got to cover your expenses. It's not just carte blanche. Money comes in, money goes out. No, money comes in, is delineated and sorted, and then specific sections of it goes back out. And the control that you feel, the joy at being immediately profitable. You are profitable from this in this system. You are profitable in this system from the very first dollar that you deposit, because at least 1 cent of it is going into your profit account and you are showing a profit. So unlike when you talk to your accountant and they say, oh, look, you're profitable. You're like, oh, where's the money? They're like, well, you spent it already. He's got a story like that in there. It's like, well, where did I spend it? Probably in supplies, maybe in courses, maybe in things that you just didn't think about, but that's where your profit went. And now you don't have it to pay the government, pay your taxes, or no, I've never been in that situation right there. But yes, so I am so psyched here. So I do invite you guys, definitely buy the book. Like, hands down, 100% buy the book. It is life-changing for the security of your business. And it is so clarifying on the actions you take in your business. Now, like, Mike has a whole slew of them. I recommend Profit First. I recommend Pumpkin Plan. I definitely recommend Fix This Next. Read Profit First, and then read Fix This Next. Because that is, like, also just amazing. I haven't read his newest one, Get Different, but I'll get there. It's on the list. But yeah, so join us in the virtual Embroidery Entrepreneur Summit. Andrew, you gave me a tongue twister there. That is so much harder to say than Handmade Success Summit. But I'm so psyched to have that Profit First expert there to talk to us, and being in the handmade space. Like, this Profit First for quilters, but you can take that for quilters and just change it out. Mentally change out the vocabulary for whatever your business is. So I'm in jewelry, change it out for jewelry. If you're in candles, change it out for candles. If you're in soaps, change it out for soaps. If you're in textiles, change it out for textiles. If you're in digital prints, change it out for digital prints. Whatever your business is, just change out the vocabulary because the principles will remain the same. And the principles laid out in here, I promise, can make any business profitable and it will force you. Like, I remember the first year. So, story time, I was first introduced to this by one of the few courses in my life that I've also regretted. It's funny, like I talk about the book that I most regret taking and one of the courses I most regret taking, which was Be Your Own Brand. Was that what it was called? The Graces. I don't even remember their names. It was just, I don't think it's a bad course. Plenty of people have lots of success on it. It was just a bad course for me. I did not jive with their teaching style. I couldn't read their slides. I didn't give a crap. I like things that are more, less woo-woo-y and more scientific action step based. And I just felt like an extreme lack of action steps in that course, if I remember right. I think it's Be Your Own Brand. Whatever. I don't even know if they're still in business or not. But they had Mike on as a guest speaker in the course. And this made the entire cost of the course worth it, that I got introduced to this book. So Mike came on, he did his speech, and I was like very skeptical in the beginning. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why am I going to give up my money? I don't want multiple bank accounts, blah, 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 blah. But then, lo and behold, because I was on there, a few weeks later, I get this in the mail. It's a signed copy, so that's like even better. My pride and joy right there. I'll never get rid of this book. It is my financial Bible. But I get the book, I read it in like 2 or 3 days, and then within a week, I was going to open up my bank account. So this was, I believe I started Profit First on July 1st of the year. And by the time Christmas had rolled around, I was giving a talk to a bunch of business students through Wedsy. And I talked about this book because at that point I was looking at my accounts, and because everything was separated out, because I had a profit account, because my operating expenses were set aside. Now I also have accounts for shows and for supplies. So like show fees are never a surprise. I always have the money on the hand for that. But even those, like I looked at my aggregate accounts and I could not believe how much money was in the bank. Why? Because I wasn't seeing a total, I could never, unless I went and added everything up, I wasn't able to see a total grand number to think like, oh, I have that much money to play. Oh, I have $10,000 to play with. No. So when I looked at it, and this was like, really, I was still working a day job, but on my business accounts, I had like $6,000, I think, and I had never had that much money in the bank at that time, before in my life. And it was just mind-blowing. At that point, like, after working it for 5-6 months, I was like, I am a stalwart believer, and this system, like, to the grave. Profit first, all the way, let's do it. So, Pikul Peep, this went on way longer than I expected, which always does. When I say it's going to be a quick one, I should just cut that phrase completely. But I want to know, 1, what kind of financial system are you using? 2, do you have a Spoil the Entrepreneur with self-care plan, method, process? Do you have a day on the calendar where you're like, okay, this day I go out and I get pedicures, or this day is set aside, I'm going to do face masks or something luxury. This day is set aside, I'm going to go visit a restaurant I've never been to before. This day is set aside or whatnot. That is completely separated from your business. That is just about spoiling you. And then number 3, have you run the Profit First system? Are you interested in the Profit First system? And I guess number 4, do you have your ticket to the Virtual Embroidery Entrepreneur Summit by Coach Andrew George? Because it's going to be phenomenal. It is completely free. I have the link for you down below. Yes, if you take any of the other options he has, I am an affiliate. But I wholeheartedly believe in what Andrew's doing. I am so psyched. I cannot wait to learn and get Profit First from someone else's eyeballs, and like to hear like, what's the next step? Was there a piece that I'm missing? I reread this book every year, and every year I find another way that I can improve how I'm acting on Profit First. Okay, I can't wait for more of that. All right, that is it today, Pikul Peep. I hope you enjoyed. You have your assignments, questions down below, plus get your tickets to the Virtual Embroidery Entrepreneur Summit, and I will see you on the next one. Until then, you have an epic day while you're building your epic business.